Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for joining here in Chillin with Jules with myself and Edwin. We got Hugo in the house today with us. He's going to talk about real estate deals. Privatelender.com is who he's with, and he's going to be dropping some jewels here for us. So without further ado, Edwin, you want to do some more intros, and then we'll have Hugo take it away, or we'll go through everyone and have them do a quick intro. I like that from last week, so we
Sure,
can do
sure,
that as well.
sure. So one of the things we like to do, thank you, Julie, for this here and bringing our
Of course.
guests over here. One of the things we like to do here is kind of introduce everybody here, quick 2 seconds to kind of know where we at, who we are, what we do, what we're looking for. So if we don't mind doing that for a couple minutes, just to kind of introduce each other and tell Hugo who we are and what we're looking for. So let's take it off. Let's go with Julie, since Julie is the host
Uh,
here.
Oh, okay, real quick. Hey guys, so Julie Colette here in South Florida. So happy you guys can join us. I focusing on three things: co-living for veterans, lending and raising capital, and the third one is Dubai investments. Here with my lovely co-host Edwin. We're so happy to have Hugo with us to drop some jewels. Thank you all for joining. We'll switch it to Edwin, and then Edwin, you just choose and one person choose, so we get it done.
That's right. That's right. And thank you to our host here,
Welcome.
Julie, for having me here and our awesome guest here, Hugo. My name is Ellen Ridley. I'm down here in Miami alongside with Julie and the awesome Hugo. I'm focusing
Right.
into multifamily, co-living with Julie. Also doing a little bit of storage units here on the side. We're also focusing on capital raising as well, just kind of structuring that as we're going along. So passing that along, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie White from Delaware. I focus on AI systems for the business as well as co-living and fix and flips.
Awesome,
Awesome.
awesome. Miss Sharon.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sharon Curtis, I'm down here in South Florida as well. Pretty much focusing on wholesale deals and multifamily deals.
Mm.
Met Julie last year at a meetup event, so we working together on a few things. And I just pretty much I love her. I love the environment and all the people that I've been meeting. Let me
Awesome.
yeah, I can barely see. Hold on, I don't have my glasses. Uh, Joanna.
Joanna,
That's
if you're
awesome.
able to unmute.
Hi.
Hi. If you could just tell us real quick where you're from, a little about you, if you want to share. It's no pressure, guys.
Well, we'll get back to them. Having a little bit of technical difficulty there. How about Sergio? Sergio, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
A little bit about yourself, my friend. Where you from and what you're doing, what you're looking for.
Hey, thank you so much, Edwin. So, hey all, like my full name is Surya Pal. I work with Hugo as his sales assistant. I'm from India, so it's very like I'm really excited to see everyone here and really excited to hear what's coming and what everybody is contributing to the team. So, yep, that's all
Awesome,
from.
Sergio. Glad
Awesome.
to
Thanks
have
for
you here,
joining us
my
from
friend.
India, man. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Joel?
absolutely. Tamara, you there?
Hello, yes, I am. Hi, I'm Tamara. I am located in Chicago and I'm a TC, but I'm always looking to learn about everything that I can, network, and I'd like to be an investor one day, so it's all great.
You already
Awesome,
are. You're
Tamara.
investing in yourself. So here you are. You are an investor. There you go. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you for coming, Tamara. Glad to have you aboard.
Thank you.
Bayu,
Kurum?
how do you, is it Bayu? Bayu,
Bayur Al-Salam, that's my partner.
Bayu, okay.
It's really late. I think it's 2
Hi.
o'clock.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Kurum.
My name is Huram. I'm from Dubai. We are into asset management and real estate financing as well. We do real estate brokerage in Dubai. And thank you so much for inviting Julie. It's really nice connecting with you guys. First time, so I'm just gonna be quietly listening.
Awesome,
Thanks,
awesome.
everyone.
Yeah, glad to have you here, but I hope it's not the last.
Cheers. Yeah, definitely.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Big Joe, talk to me. I know you're there with the iPhone.
Hey guys, actually I'm just now driving into a parking lot, waiting to pick up my son, Joe Samudio from Houston, Texas, a transactional lender. The gentleman who is from Dubai, I just came from Dubai last month.
Oh,
Spent 3 wonderful days there at the marina, there at the W, and then the person there from India was in Mumbai, stayed at the Taj and at Powry Lake. So shout out to you guys.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
nice.
Awesome,
Very nice.
awesome. And since you're driving, make sure you keep that eye on the road. You hear me, Big Joe?
Yes, sir.
All right, will do. I like that. Joe, my buddy Joe, talk to me, man.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello. My name is Joe Serrano. I'm here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and I focus on marketing and foreclosures. Marketing and foreclosure. I do funnels, uh, business cards, anything you guys could think of. Marketing and courses. So that is but always learning from others, and blessed to be with this family and blessed to help. I love helping others. If you guys have questions, anything, I'm always open to learn and to help others. So I'm glad to be here.
Joe, always
Thank you,
good to
Joe.
have you, buddy. Always good to have you around, my friend. That's for sure. Glad to have you here. Miss Fatima, talk to me, girl.
She's working, so she
Oh,
put her stuff.
yes.
She's a
yes.
former GC in Virginia, specializing in masonry and renovations, small-time landlord also in Virginia, and she's currently in the process of turning a property into assisted living. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Miss Elizabeth? I don't know if you can hear me. If you
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I'm so
afternoon.
glad to be here. Nice to see you all. I'm in South Florida, Plantation near Fort Lauderdale, and I'm an architect in my country here doing design and permits and looking for fix and flips and code in the future. So anything you need with design or something, I'm here to help. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank you.
for that. Glad you're here. That's
Thank
for sure. Mr. Moses and Miss Carol? You're muted. If you can hear me, can you come up and tell us a little bit about yourself? We'll give them a chance to come up. Oh, there they are.
I'm sorry. There might be some background noise because I'm outside and windy. My name is Moses. Barade, and I'm in Homestead. I just got into real estate a couple of months ago. So I'm trying to attend these meetings to learn as much as I can. Yeah, I'm getting into these meetings to learn as much as I can and to network, see how we can work together to do some deals.
Awesome. Welcome aboard, Moses. Appreciate you being here. Mr. Lewis, sir, if you can hear me, I know you're on the phone, but keep that eye on the road. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I will extend this stop. Hi guys, everybody. Project manager. I'm a GC here in Miami. Been for a long time here in Sub 2, but don't have the time to get involved. But I'm always like connected to you and want to hear everything you have to say.
Awesome. Well, Lewis, thank you for coming. And like I said, like I told Big Joe, eyes on the road, okay? Good to hear.
Yes.
Good to have you both here. Keep the ears on the speaker, but eyes on the road. Okay.
Got it.
Will
Perfect.
do.
Yes.
And the beautiful Miss Heather, I know you're there. I see you. Come up.
Hello, thanks for letting me be here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Of
Thank you for
course.
coming.
Yeah, thank you. I'm in sub 2. I'm also a Gator. I'm in Georgia. I'm a connector, private money broker. So I will be interested to see what we hear about DSCR loans, because I'm sure always learning. So anything I could learn, I'm just happy to do it. So, and I'm also doing co-living and group homes here in the Atlanta area.
Right.
Yeah.
Go living. Let's go.
Yes, you got
I'll
it.
be there. I'll be there tomorrow for about a good 10 hours, and I'm flying back down to Florida because
Awesome.
I can't be without my host.
Yep.
Yeah,
There you go.
he has to be here for our meetup, otherwise we'll be
Yep.
in big trouble.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I gotta be on her good
Be in the
side.
doghouse.
Otherwise,
Yep.
I like to keep my
Yep.
ear attached to my head.
Yes, you should.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And to everybody here, thank you for coming. Like I said, we got an interesting topic today and an awesome guest. So I'll pass it on to my host and let her fire this topic off. Julie?
Yes, yes. Thanks everyone for the intros real quick. And as you see, our reach is getting wider. We've got people from Dubai, from India. Thank you, Hugo, for inviting your friends and everyone. We're just here to learn and grow the community. That's what my vision is, and where we can help each other. So Hugo, without further ado, if you just want to take away, bro, and just, impart your knowledge. So welcome,
Sure.
Hugo.
Dive in.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. Thank you for thinking of me. I've been following the Sub2 community for many years. And I just love the movement, love the culture, love the community. And to me, it's very important, right? Culture is whether it's your business, whether it's your family, it's all the same, right? I treat it all the same. And if you don't have that, it's very hard to be successful. So essentially, yeah. So again, I'm Hugo. I'm with privatelender.com. We are hard money lenders. True private, true hard money. I manage a fund with local investors here. So our presence is very strong here in Florida. But we lend in other states as well. And I like to think of a loan as a rocket, right? I mean, it's a fast-paced, fast-moving. It can be very intense, very stressful. And as a rocket, when it's going up, it's not just going in a straight line into orbit. It's constantly reading sensors. It's constantly correcting its course. And that's the processing and the underwriting part, right? We're looking at docs, we're making corrections, we're making adjustments as we go to get to that finish line. So as a hard money, we do hard money, and I like to separate it into two different categories because Heather, you mentioned DSCR and those type of products. We do fix and flips, we do ground up construction, we do DSCR, and we do bridge loans. We cater solely to the investor market. We don't do any owner occupied properties. We don't we do no conventional style lending. So we're all active investors in my organization, and I'll get a little bit more into that. But hard money and soft money, I put it into two categories, right? A lot of these large institutional lenders call themselves private lenders, and they're really institutional. All this paper is securitized, it's sold in the second market. You have to fit the box. There's guidelines, there's rules, there's regulations that you need to fulfill in order to get a loan approved. So on the hard money side, it's really truly asset based. I've done deals in 24 hours. I've done deals with people with 490 credit scores. And it's like, when I talk to other guys about that, they're like, wow, how do you do that? Well, we're looking at the asset, right? If it's a super low LTV, I can mitigate the risk and say, all right, you know what? So you have a 490 credit. I'm gonna check everybody out. Everybody we do business with on the hard money side, I'm gonna do a background in credit. I want to see who we're getting into business with because, kind of like Alexis Morgan, some of you guys might know her. They're dealing with investor money, right? You want to protect your investors, and at the same time, you want your borrowers to be successful. I know firsthand what it's like to lose, what it's like to be burned. I know what it's like to be successful. And that's very, it can be very painful at times. So I bring my expertise and my experiences to the table, and I have open and honest conversations with all my sponsors, my borrowers. But we're really on the hard money side. You're going to pay a higher interest rate. You're going to get lower leverages. But I've had guys call me on a Wednesday at 12:30 and they're like, I need to close this today, right? Sellers already signed. Buyers, one of the partners backs out at the closing table, and we need financing now. So, it'll tie up the majority of my afternoon. But if the deal makes sense, we can get it done. And that's Wednesday, 12:30, Thursday at 3 in the afternoon, we close and fund the deal. That's really hard to do with institutional lenders because you have to go through that third-party underwriting. On the hard money side, we're doing everything in-house. So loan docs, underwriting, processing, everything's done under one roof. So and it's a matter of calling your investors and saying, "Hey, I got this deal. I like it. These are the facts. These are the numbers. What do you think?" If you get the approval, you're good to go. My investors are calling me just like a borrower is calling me. When are we closing? When are we closing? So it's a nice position to be in. And I will be frank, not everything works. On the hard money side, we're not doing 90% leverages. We're not doing, I'm seeing rates on these fix and flips right now just really go down. We're not doing the 8.5%, 9% rates. As of not too long ago, we were like in the tens. Now I'm seeing them a lot lower. So FYI to some of you out there. Then on the soft money side, we're dealing with capital partners, more institutional. You guys all, I work with a local group that I've known since they started. They're down in Brickell, but I've danced around with everybody from the Kiavis to the Lima ones to the Rock Capitals, right? They're the ones that are going to give you that 90% if you have the experience. They're going to give you the lower rates, but that's a 3-4 week process to get a loan closed, right? Some of this underwriting and the processing we're doing, but the underwriting, it's out of our control. We're relying on third parties, and for whatever reason, it can get a little tenuous sometimes, and it's very intrusive. It's very it can be very stressful, right? You guys had on Steven Caseta last week, right? Him and I, us lenders, we all work together, right? I don't do the P&Ls. I don't do the bank statement loans. So him and I are working on $1 million deal right now, right? And I met him through the community, right? I met him, we connected. Somebody else that's in the community came to me for a loan, and it's all creative stuff, right? And it's really hard to get those things through uh, an underwriter, right? How do you structure these deals? How can you do these creative deals? So at the last meetup down in Miami, I saw one of the guys, and I'm like, "Hey, what happened? Did you close your deal?" And he's like, "Yeah, we actually did, and my lender's here right now, and I got another one for you." Again, there's this Gator lending involved. There's second positions. There's financing equity. That's really difficult to do when you're dealing with institutional lenders. On the private side, I have a lot more wiggle room, but that's really difficult, right? And you have to really be careful on how you structure these deals in order to get them to go through. So I see his name is
Hugo,
Armand. Yeah.
Hugo,
Yes.
before we keep going, because we've known each other for some time now, and your brain is like a G5, what is it, a G5 network type thing where you just held a lot of this information in there, man. And so I want to make sure that a lot of I mean, when was it? The multifamily meetup. We closed the restaurant, like legit. We were in the parking lot at 1 o'clock in the
Yes.
morning, and we were still going at it.
We got kicked out.
We got kicked out the restaurant, and that wasn't enough. Well, we took it to the parking lot. Here we go at 1:30, and actually, that was the day I missed my flight to Sicily. Go figure, right? So let me just ask you something, because you said something earlier that a lot of people don't understand. When you say we do this, and we do that, but sometimes we just can't do some stuff. And then you say, oh, well, sometimes we can work with credit up to 490, 500. A lot of today's people, right, have credit between 5 and I want to say at the very most 610, if I want to throw a number out there, right? People who want to work that can work with that type of credit. What do you suggest? Say I find a house on 123 Main Street, right? 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, and I want to buy it, fix and flip it, and I've got a credit line of 600, 605, I guess, right? If I wanted to walk up to you and say, hey, I'm presenting this house to you so we can do something with it, what would be the steps that you might think that could work for us?
So I would think of two options, right? First, find a partner with better credit, and you guys can partner up, because the institutional lenders, most of them are going to have a minimum of 660, right? On the fix and flip loans, experience carries a lot of weight, right? A lot of weight. But you can partner up with someone, and there's ways to structure that simply like in an operating agreement that gives this guy 51%, you get 49% for the purposes of the underwriting. They're on the entity, you guys are on there together. Then we can use that qualifying score to, or at least the higher score to qualify, being that they're a 51% owner of the entity, right? And again, whatever side agreements you guys have is all good. That's just for the purposes of underwriting the loan. So none of that stuff gets recorded, you know, and we tweak these things all the time. Sometimes you have a borrower with really bad credit, they have all the experience, right? So we'll bring them down to like a 9% ownership on the operating agreement. You have the better credit. We'll make you, 91%. Voila. Now you have good credit, experience, and we can make it work that way. And again, that's with soft money, that's institutional money, and you never know what challenges might come up, because every lender is going to react a little differently, right?
Right.
Now on the private side, on the hard money side, I would say if you have horrible credit, but you have liquidity, you have a 30% down payment to get into that deal, and the numbers make sense. That's all I'm asking for, right?
So in essence, right, if you can get two people to work together like that, it's a lot easier for you to fund them a whole lot quicker than your traditional, let's go to, I don't know, Chase, and get them funded that way.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. With the private side, it's like I mentioned, as soon as I look at a deal and I underwrite a deal, I know whether it's going to fly or not. And as soon as I present it to my credit committee, investors, if I'm comfortable with it, I already know they're going to be comfortable with it. And that's it. We get the green light, title, appraisal, insurance, and we can close the deal. We can close those deals as soon as title is ready, which is very different than the institutional side, because sometimes title's ready, or often title is ready, but the lender's not, right? Because they're still going through their underwriting process. They're still figuring it out, and they're still coming back with conditions, and they're still asking for this. And Steven and I mean, up until 5:50, we were working together because we were trying to close the deal by tomorrow. And this morning, we're still getting conditions back. And you have to meet all of these requirements. So even my team was like, what's going on? We need the CTC now. And I was like, guys, everybody relax. We know how this process works. We know that we're not going to get a clear to close until we've checked off all the boxes. So just focus all your energy into getting what we need so that we can get this thing through. And that's it.
What makes it easy to go through you, because you've got that structure in-house that could just, hey, I need you to do this, pass it over there, bring it back over here. We could close it within 24 hours, fund the deal, and the work just keeps on going.
24 hours is everything's ready, everything's done, title was ready, everything was done, right? So the only thing that happens there is either the lender falls through, or one of the buyers falls through, or something to that extent, because you're not going to be able to close a deal in 24 hours if you're not ready to close, right? Your title, your insurance, all that stuff has to be in place, because otherwise you got to order these things, and then 5 days, 7 days, as soon as we can get these things in order, we can close the deal. But on the private side, I'm doing the underwriting. I'm looking at the deal because, and my team, we're all active investors. And you guys, some of you guys know this. My partner's a real estate attorney. We have our own title company. We have a division that sources distressed properties all over Florida, specializing in probate. So now we're wholesaling these deals. Some I'm putting on the market because I'm a licensed realtor. So I don't do showings. I don't do open houses. My team locks up a deal. They say, hey, Hugo, can you throw it on the MLS? Sure, no problem. We'll put it on the MLS. But I have about 30 properties in our pipeline on the wholesale side. right? So I don't want to confuse everybody, but we do all of this under one roof. You know, we source deals. There's a whole department that deals with that. Just as of recently, I've been tapping into the dispo side because I'm the one that's dealing with all the investors. I'm the one that's financing the deals. And I do enjoy putting a property on the market every now and then, especially a distressed property, right? Or a property that needs full rehab. I listed one about 2 weeks ago. I probably met at least 30 straight cash buyers, investors, right? Another 30 agents that work with investors, 10 wholesalers. And it's great, right? It just broadens your network because we can get a little jaded sometimes when we stay within our circles, right? So it's nice to get out. It's nice to meet new people. That's why I love the meetups. That's why I love going out because you just never know who you're going to meet. And but yeah, I mean, I logged every communication that I had on one of these properties, and I documented about 80 people that I connected with. For the most part, all cash buyers, investors. So, we understand investing, we understand investors, we understand investor mindset. We're all investors in my team and in my group. So we get it, right? It's not just, yes, Monday through Friday, 9 to 7, I'm pumping loans and we're financing deals. 24/7, we're looking at real estate, especially in the words of Jamil, investment grade residential real estate. I love using that term because that's what it's investment grade residential real estate. That's our focus. So we speak the language. I love it when I had the other day somebody connected me with an investor, and she was coming up with all these great strategies, and it's like I had to, I reached out to her and I'm like, listen, I love speaking with people like you because you guys, clearly you're a thinker. You're coming up with all these different solutions. Again, she's trying to close on a property in, like, I don't remember, Indianapolis or Missouri, in a town population like 1,200. That's really hard for us, right? We like to stick more to the metro areas. It's really difficult for us to do those type of deals. And she needed to close in a day. So it's like, you're really making this hard.
Those are tough. Hugo, question.
Yeah.
A question for you. So speak to us about, say for example, if somebody doesn't have a partner, it's just them, and they have a 490 to whatever credit score. How are you going to work with this person? Because everybody says, yes, I can close the deal. We got a lot of lenders.
All right. So let's dive in a little bit there. What are we doing? Are we doing a fix and flip? Are we doing a bridge loan?
Let's say it's a fix and flip.
Is it a ground up construction? Give me a
It's a fix and
flip. So we're gonna say it's a perfect, right? Because I've done the guy with the 490, he actually inherited that property. There was a small mortgage on it. The family had to work all this out. We did pay off a lender. It was a small mortgage, but it was a very low LTV, right? Okay. So that's what makes it appealing to us. I've mitigated my risk, right? I'm not lending you 60, 70, 80% of the value. I'm giving you 30, 40% of the value. At that point, we don't really care, Now, in your background, if you are a career criminal, if you got clearly I've seen attempted murder, I've seen fraud, I've seen it all. At that point, it might raise a couple flags. I might get cold feet because when you're dealing with investor money, you got to be careful because if something goes bad, something goes south, I'm the one that's getting the phone call. This isn't Wells Fargo where you book a loan and you're done and you never hear from these people again. Something goes south, my phone is ringing. So I'm going to vet everybody closely. And we can paint a good picture, listen, we all make mistakes, right? I'm no saint, but I'm not going to judge over, little things. It's funny sometimes when I talk to some of my borrowers, I'm like, dude, you really need to slow down, bro. All these speeding tickets, man, you got a lead foot. I see it all in your background, man. Slow down. But essentially, low LTVs go very well. If you are an investor and you have bad credit, but you have the cash, if you bring 30% down on a fix and flip cash, I don't need to season the money. I don't need to need to look at, where it came from. I'm not even asking for your bank statements. If you want to send them to me, it'll give me a warm and fuzzy feeling because I know it's there. But if you tell me, hey, listen, I can close on this, I'll give you the numbers, and you say, done, I got the money. We're not looking for interest payment reserves. We're not looking at any of that. You got your closing costs, you have your down payment. So fix and flip, hard money, 30% down, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. So we can do those deals all day long, as long as your as is, your rehab, and your ARV all fall in line to where they need to be on the percentages.
Okay, good. Thank
Really,
you.
really just liquidity. Liquidity will make the big
Liquidity.
difference.
Okay. And like you said, you didn't care where they're getting that, so they can go get a PML and get that 30% and
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm not asking any questions. You want to show up to the title company with a cashier's check or an envelope full of $20 bills, and they're willing to take it.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking any questions.
And it's also nice that you have the title
We're on-
company in-house, so it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hugo,
Go
a
ahead.
couple questions from the chat. We got Big Joe. Big Joe is asking us, are you a direct lender?
So I manage on the private money side. On the soft money, I broker the deals. I really only work with one institutional capital partner that we've known since they started in the business. So I've gone around, I flirted with everyone, but I'm pretty loyal to them. On the private side, yes, we manage a fund, right? It's a pool of investors, and it's a small fund. It's anywhere between 40 to $50 million that we're constantly circulating. Now, that might sound like a lot of money, but in the lending space, it's really not. Some of these other lenders or direct lenders or whatever you want to, everybody calls themselves something. They manage much larger sums of money. What I've learned being in finance is everybody, to a certain extent, is brokering. I don't care if you're Wells Fargo. You are providing liquidity at the closing table, and you are selling your loans to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac or somebody like that, and they're replenishing your liquidity. So, hedge funds, the Kiavi, the Lima ones, they have lines of credit. They they have access to the capital. They fund the deals. They securitize the paper, and it gets sold in the secondary market. Very few lenders actually hold that short-term paper and balance sheet that paper, where we do, right? We don't sell the short-term paper on the private side. On the soft money side, almost everything gets sold off. That's why it has to fit that box.
Gotcha.
Right. So that's why I move quickly on the private side, right? We can
Gotcha.
get a deal done fast because the money's there.
Gotcha. And so let me ask you this question, and then I'll let you keep going with your presentation, because we just went up to Vermont, shot to Billing, Montana, came down through Texas, and ended up right back in Florida. So I do apologize for that big old running around. And this is tailored to someone, I guess, like myself, right? That's, my history already. And a combination of maybe Miss Heather and Tamara put together. DSCR loans, say, Fort Lauderdale, especially north of where I'm at here in Sunny Isles, you find a lot of fourplexes up here. Say I want to invest in something in the fourplex, fix it up, buy and hold 3 years or so. How do you structure something like that?
So a fourplex is going to be considered no different than a single family house, right? So on the DSCRs, for the most part, the easiest way to do it, single family, 1 to 4 units. That's what usually fits everybody's box. Some lenders will go up to 8 units. Anything above 4, they're going to look at it more as it's going to be commercial, more multifamily. You want to see the NOI, you want to look at all the expenses. But single family, 1 to 4 unit, it's pretty simple, right? We're looking at DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. How much of my mortgage payment am I covering with the income that the property is actually producing via the leases in place? Or what's the potential? And that's going to, what's the potential monthly market rent that we're going to verify via an appraisal, right? So you have It can be a purchase. It can be a cash out refi. If you know what I find often down here, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. What you find often is you have these landlords, tired landlords. We love calling the tired landlords, right? I'm sure all of us, right? You want to sell your
Right.
property. They usually need repairs. They're dilapidated a little bit. They have way below market rents often. That's not going to DSCR, right? We're looking at, especially right now, I'm seeing a lot of lenders. They're getting a little they're getting pickier. Before we used to be able to go to a negative DSCR. Now I'm seeing a lot of guys, they want you to at least break even. So, but that again, that comes in two forms. You either have a, excuse me, guys, my kids are outside and the dogs are going nuts. Um, you either if you're purchasing a property on a fourplex, it's going to be a little different because typically it's going to be tenant occupied, especially on a purchase, right? If it's tenant occupied, we're going to look at the leases. Are they month to month? Are they, are there still some current leases in place? Um, if they're month to month, we can consider it's going to be vacant at closing. We're going to order an appraisal. And again, hard money, soft money, I always require an appraisal. I know there's lenders out there that say no appraisal required. We go on Zillow, we determine the value, we're done. That's not us. I always need an appraisal, right? We always want to see the condition of the property inside out and get an opinion of value from a professional that's not us. We have a good sense, but I want it on paper. So it's a purchase. If they're month to month rents, we'll order an appraisal. The appraiser is going to come back with it's a 1025 appraisal, and they're going to have a 1007 in there, which is going to give the estimates of the monthly market rent. So we can use that monthly market rent to qualify the loan and qualify the debt service. If you have long-standing leases, if you just renewed the leases, then we're going to go off those lease amounts, which could hurt you, right? It could hurt you. It could be, especially with rates the way they've been, and then the home prices the way they've been, right? People are paying an arm and a leg. Rates are high. Your debt service is high, but I got, 2014 rents and not 2024, 25 rents, which we all know what happened. So again, every scenario is different. It's really, we just have to crunch the numbers. We want to know what the taxes are, which we can look at. We want to know what the insurance is, which we can estimate. And then really most importantly is that rent, how much income is this property producing, right? On a DSCR, what are we asking for? 2 months of bank statements to show that you have the liquidity for the purchase, background credit. Every time your credit goes up by like 20 points, you're getting into a better bracket for the rates. So the higher your credit, the better your rate, which is also gonna help your debt service, right? The lower the rate, the less your monthly payment is. So it's such a combination. I call DSCRs, I used to call them the Rubik's Cube because we can combine this thing in so many different ways.
Yeah.
If it fits. I mean, in some cases, especially recently in South Florida, in some cases, you would just go with 10 years interest only. Because once we eliminate that you're so tight. And when we eliminate that principal payment and you're just making interest only payments for 10 years, it's just enough to get you over that hump where you can get the loan approved, the numbers start to work. Yeah, it's and this is why actually I've been working with Steven Casada, because he'll do the bank statement loans, he'll do the P&L loans, and I have a portfolio bridge loan that I did in Texas, almost $1 million loan. And now we go back to DSCR. And what I found in Texas was property values were going down. Taxes well, you think we have it bad in Florida, you can double it in Texas, or at least in these parts. It's expensive. So and the rents just weren't adding up. So we decide to, we do a bank statement loan instead, right? Because this person has tons of money coming in and out of their bank account. They don't, the property's not going to DSCR. The numbers aren't penciling out. So, you have different options. You got bank statement, you got profit and loss statement, you have the 12-month bank statement, 24-month bank statement. I'm not going to say that I'm an expert in those things. I know DSCR like the back of my hand. I know fix and flip loans like the back of my hand. I know bridge loans, and I know ground up construction. And again, part of the community, right? You know, I was telling that story before. It was awesome at the last meetup because this guy's like, oh, I got that loan through and my lender's here and I got another one. And I said, oh, with that structure, you should, I had met Jonathan, I can't remember the French guy. I can't remember his last name. Yep. I met him and he came up to me and we started talking and it's like, hey, by the way, remind me what you do. And all of this at the last meetup within 10 minutes, he tells me, he reminds me of what he does. And then this guy walks in and asks me, says he has another deal. I was like, you need to talk to him. I totally pulled the Pace Morby. Right?
Yes.
The total Pace Morby move. You need to talk to him. Jonathan, come here. You guys need to talk. And then he's like, and my lender's here and he can get this through. I'm like, bring that guy over here right now. I want to know how you guys structure this. You know, I just want to be a fly on the wall to see how you guys do this because I'm a lender. But, you know, this is difficult for me. So I want to learn, you know, show me, teach me. I would love to learn. And, you know, I connected them all and I don't even know if anything came out of it, but I just get such a joy from giving back, right? Because like I mentioned earlier, I know what it's like to lose. I know what it's like to be burned. And that's a painful feeling. It's a very painful lesson. If we can avoid that at any cost, man, I'm so happy to help, right? And we don't do it. I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for referrals. I just do it to give back because you pay it forward. It comes back, guys. It all comes back. You know, life, karma, karma's a bitch, right? What comes around goes around, right? If you want to be a jerk, you're going to get that. If you want to be positive and pay it forward, you're going to get it back 10 times. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so this is why we hold these Zooms. Actually, let's take a little further back. This is why we go to these meetups that Julie sets up every month at the beginning of the month. Because quite frankly, for those that don't know, and let's put him out here right now, it's where I met Eduardo, and I met Joe, and I met Hugo. And together, we all met Ellie and we met Fatima and now we meet you guys. And next thing you know, we're networking and we're connecting and we're talking.
And we're in Dubai. And then we'll go to India and Mumbai. And I mean,
Chi-Town, wave at me, Chi-Town. One of my good friends is over there right now, you know, and so, you know, everybody from everywhere, Atlanta's in the house. I mean, and so this is what this is all about. So when you start to think about what just came out of your mouth right this very second and how all this network happened, we just had, like you said, Stefan, last week, dropped a ball of knowledge, and then right behind Stefan here, you come and drop another ball of knowledge, and you combine them both together, it's a powerhouse. And for those that don't understand that, for example, I'll use Tamara, not that I want to call you out, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but let's use you for a second. That you want to invest and you're also TC. If you look at the guest speaker we had last week, and you take what Hugh was dropping out right now, and you put them together as a TC, now you understand how to put that paperwork together and invest, right? Because it's all in-house. You don't have to go over there and call this other person and wait for that to happen. Everything is sitting right there in front of you. One phone call away, and he could walk you through everything that you need to get done. And this is the beauty of it, right? And if you're looking for how to stack up and
happy to do so. I mean, there's times when I spend an hour on the phone with somebody for like a tiny loan, but I can just hear the confusion. I can hear the nervousness. And being that I've been there, it's like, hold on. Let me talk you through this. Let me really think to a child, right? And it's like, and I'll tell them, listen, you can keep going down this road and risk it all, or you can cut it quits right now and lose your $5,000 escrow. I feel you very nervous and very edgy, and I just don't want you to do something that you're going to regret, right? I personally rather lose $5,000 than, get $150,000 into the hole, right? But listen, but when it's all said and done, I'm going to give you the best information that I possibly can. We can look at these scenarios. That's all we do is Surya. He's on here too. I spent 1.5 years kind of getting him up to speed. He's my right hand. Anybody has a scenario, you can email us the details. We actually just relaunched our website. So you can go to privatelender.com, you can click on get terms, fill in the basic info. And if it's a deal, within less than a minute, you'll get terms in your email. Right? It's a 45 to 60 seconds. So fix and flip, ground up, DSCR, and bridge loans, right? You'll get terms in your email very quickly. We've also spent a lot of time building out our back end with the AI, with, just automating everything, streamlining the process, because our goal is really to just create a pleasant experience, right? And I know that if borrowers have a pleasant experience and you're able to package all this information that we require quickly and efficiently, we can get loans closed quickly, and I think that's every lender's goal for the most part. And
Yes.
lenders, I think lending is very much it's like the wild west. There's a lot of old legacy systems. It's not easy to make these shifts into 2025 AI world that we're living in, and they're out there, so we definitely plan on being a part of that movement. And I see what guys have done which requires 60 people. I want to be able to do it with 15, 20 people. But I know there was another point that I wanted to make that you said, Edwin, but now it's slipping my mind, but it'll come back.
But you know what? Just to add to what you were saying, just to give it to Tamara, it's just to give you an idea. I use AI every day. Almost like half of my entire life is on AI, an AI platform. But you've got people like Jamie, who's our system guy, and then you have Joe, who is like AI guy. That's the AI guy. I mean, he should probably change his name to Joe AI. I mean, that's what he works with: automation, websites, funnels, you name it. That's the dude that does it. And so when you start again to structure how this works or how you want to make it work, if you look at this picture right here of 18 people, there is absolutely nothing you can't get done. There's nothing you can't get done, right?
100%.
When you look at it and you're saying, wow, we've got people from Dubai and India, forget the United States, Dubai and India with different expertise in here, it speaks for itself, right? And so when you hear Hugo putting what he's putting out here, you think about it. Does it make sense or does it make sense? And then on top of all that, we understand the structure. You're nervous. You don't. We're not telling you, yeah, I need you to put $10 into this investment. No, we're trying to educate you, and then you decide what you want to do from there on out. Because he's been there, Julie's been there, I've been there, everybody here has been there. If you haven't been there, get the knowledge, get the education, learn it from the people that's doing it, network from the people that's doing it. Go home, think about it, and then make your decision from there. But the person who says, this is what you need to do, this is where you need to go, that's the person you need to turn around and get a speeding ticket heading the other way.
Yeah. Tamara has a question. Thanks, Edwin. Tamara, you want to ask? You want to unmute? Unmute.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Hugo works in all 50 states or if it's only in Florida. Or...
No, not all 50 states. So we only do non-QM, right? So commercial loans. So I would say we cover there's a few states we don't go into. We're about 40, 45 states that we can cover, somewhere around there. Dakotas are tough ones. California requires licensing, Nevada, Arizona. There are some workarounds, right? So it's very much deal specific. But yeah, for the most part, Dakotas are definitely no-go. Hawaii, Alaska, those are difficult ones. But for the most part, we can cover almost every state.
Is Illinois one of those? Sorry.
Illinois we cover.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's what I was going to ask you, because she's there. I just wanted to make sure she was taken care of if her state was one of those states you covered. But yeah, thank you, brother.
iPhone, you want to unmute and ask your question? It's a 3-part question.
iPhone. Somebody need to call Pace and tell them we got an iPhone in there.
Yeah, should be Android. Hugo, he was asking, or she, sorry, I don't know. How solid are your terms delivered in a minute? And do you run credit, and do they get delivered to my email?
Do I run? Are you asking me if I run credit and
They're
does it
asking
get
if you
delivered
run
to your email?
credit. Like when
Oh,
you
okay.
said you can go on your website and do, you can get.
No. That's you're gonna state the information and you'll get terms based on the information that you're telling us. So we're not pulling credit until you've signed a loan application and all that. Once we initiate the process, we'll run credit. But no, this is just to give you some preliminary terms.
Quick. Got it.
Give you a glance. I like the baseline, and I want everyone to use it as a tool. You can go to the website, you can go to quicktermsheet.com, use it as a tool. It's free. Hey, this is what I got. These are my numbers, and plug it in. You'll get terms in your email. If you can't, for whatever reason, the deal's not making sense, that means that it's not working in the calculators. You'll get an email back, that you'll get a phone call. And you can reach out to us and we can talk about it a little bit further, see if there's anything we can do to tweak it. There's always a bunch of things you can do, right? Often don't overstate your rehab budgets, but also don't sell yourself short either, right? You want to try to get some accurate numbers. What I find a lot is, especially in the wholesaling networks down here in South Florida, it just got so competitive. Things were expensive, even a fixer upper. People were asking an arm and a leg for them. And it's just all of a sudden your numbers are just not adding up. And then I need $120,000 rehab or $100,000 rehab, and there's just no spread anymore. There's no ROI, which is going to bring the initial loan amount down, right? We'll make it work, but often, I've worked with a lot of investors. They're like, listen, I got this one contractor. He wants to charge $105,000. I got this guy for $75,000. I got this guy for $60,000. At that point, I'm like, listen, bro, be careful, right? Because you're all over the place. You need to make sure that whoever you're working with is really going to deliver. Contractors there's good ones out there and there's really bad ones out there. So you want to be careful with your numbers. You really want to be able to get the most accurate figures that you possibly can when you're doing a fix and flip. And but no credit pulling, just a baseline for you guys to work with and give yourself an idea. I am seeing rates come down considerably on the fix and flip and the bridge loan side. So I think, it's something with the secondary markets and the securitization of these loans, but I'm seeing rates now trickle into the mid to high 8s, which I haven't seen in years. Right.
That's great. Good to know.
Yeah, so it's getting interesting.
And just before we go to the next question with Eddie, what exactly does that mean? When you say that the rates are going to like
rates going down?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm seeing rates
just for everybody else here,
8.75. So on a fix and flip loan, right? A fix and flip bridge loans, we call those RTL, residential transition loans. You're going to take a short-term bridge loan for whatever reason. It's a bridge, right? You just need to get from point A to point B. We want to understand what you're doing, what your exit strategy is. That's one of the things that I learned the most painful ways, not having clear exits. But we want to know what your exit strategy is. So a bridge loan is just similar to a fix and flip loan. The only difference is the fix and flip loan has a rehab component where the bridge loan does not. They're both 12-month loans. They're both interest-only loans, right? They're both don't have taxes and insurance escrowed into your payment. So people hear, 10, 11, 12% on a rate. It's actually cheaper than a DSCR because you paid the taxes and the insurance at closing and you're only making an interest-only payment, right? So traditionally on the hard money side, we've been at 12% for your rate. On the institutional side, they were about 10.5% up until not too long ago. Then, sorry guys, then 10%, then 9.75. As of last week, I'm seeing rates in the 8.5 to 8.75 range. Now, mind you, experience and credit are going to play factors into that, right?
Right.
But I'm seeing rates really come down on fix and flip loans. The DSCR, that adjusts with the market. If you want to follow the T-bills, the treasury bills, the 10-year treasury bills, that's really what's going to determine the mortgage rates on 30-year loans. Because on a DSCR, like the rates are very comparable to conventional rates. Just a little bit more expensive. Not by much if you're a qualifying borrower. You know, I do get the minimum credit score on a DSCR is typically around 660. Then you're gonna get somebody who wants 80% financing with a 660 credit score. You got a negative DSCR. It just doesn't work, right? We're not magicians.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be realistic too, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the difficult parts about the lending business is sometimes people take this stuff personal. It's like, I can only do what I can do and what I can make work and what I can fit. And by all means, I will work with you every step of the way to try to make that triangle fit into a circle, right? And sometimes we are able to do that, but there's only so much, that we can do, right? Those rates are I've seen them go down. And Steven will tell you, man, we had this deal and we started at 7.675, wasn't locked in. Next thing you know, we're at 8.375. And on $1 million
wow.
loan, I'm like, man, this borrower is gonna flip. They're gonna flip. So we just watched the market every single day until they trickled back down to 8.75. It took a little bit over a week. And every morning I'm like, Steven, where are we at? Steven, where are we at? What's the rate today? What's the rate today? And it's adjusting daily. So again, 30-year paper, very different than
Right.
fix and flip and the bridge
Totally.
loan. The fix and flip and bridge loans do not fluctuate often. All of a sudden last week they just did this, and I'm like, wow, this is scary and also awesome at the same time.
And that's why we love you guys. All that right there, you're not gonna get anywhere else. Eddie,
true.
talk to me. Eduardo. Unmute, buddy. There we go.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Sorry,
Eduardo.
Hey, Eddie.
I'm
Eddie, how's it going,
kind of
buddy?
like multitasking, so I was in and out. All right, so sorry if you already answered this, but any of the lenders you work with, are they interested in investing in a long-term property and then meant they could get good monthly payments?
So a long-term property where there's can you like explain that a little bit?
I have somebody who's working, who's pulling pulling everything together for this partners in New York. They have done sober living facilities, and they have done such a great job that either the government or a powerful organization is asking them to do a homeless shelter. Oh. And so he gave us a brief summary, and if they're even the slightest bit interested,
In a
you can get more
homeless shelter, so essentially
in-depth info. Sorry, what?
So essentially they're trying to finance a homeless shelter or build a homeless shelter, if I understand you correctly.
Both. They're going to the people who live in New York who set up those sober living facilities is going to renovate a property, I believe.
Well, I mean, just the short answer is anything that's commercial. So a homeless shelter, I would consider that either commercial or governmental to an extent. It sounds like it's going to be privately owned, but you're talking about a commercial facility, not a commercial loan. Big difference between the two. DSCRs, fix and flips, those are commercial loans, but they're residential real estate. Commercial real estate, completely different. That's a whole nother ballpark. And we're talking, that's two different languages. A homeless facility, backed by possibly the state or local municipality. There might be someone out there for that. The short answer is that is very difficult for us to do. and it'd be something that I would love to be a part of. But the short answer is no. And you and I, Eddie, we can connect about this offline as well. I think you
Yeah,
sent
I sent you a text. I'm not sure if you saw it, but
we can connect about it offline. But yeah, anything that's commercial, right? Even well, the 5 to 8 units that's feasible, but any commercial grade real estate, it's a whole different way of looking at these things. And now you've also narrowed down your lender pool considerably.
yeah, I understand. The seller of the property is giving us a hard time because he wants it to be funded like yesterday.
I got it. Okay.
That's cool, Eddie. So let's talk offline about that because that's like
Sure.
specific. He doesn't deal with the commercial
And
part of it. So
and
we'll,
act
we'll, we'll
and
help with
actually,
that.
Zolar provided with the contact I'm in conversation in right now to see if we could get this funded.
And
You
he
have
did
my email
also have
address,
a
right? Shoot me an email on that. I'll shoot me an email with everything that you have.
Okay.
and Eddie, I put the one pager in there. It has all of Hugo's information for anyone who needs it.
Sorry, what?
I put the one pager in the chat, so it has Hugo's information, his email, his website, his phone number, everything in there. Okay.
Thank you.
Hey,
You're welcome.
Eddie, and one quick question, is that what you meant by, if you wanted to know what was the difference between the hard and the soft? Was the
Uh,
difference between the hard and the soft?
no,
On the credit?
that's completely
On the
different.
chat.
Somebody
Okay.
mentioned when you want credit, you mean a hard pull or soft pull on credit. What I don't know the
Oh,
difference between that.
soft pulls only. We only do soft pulls.
Yeah, but what makes it a soft pull and what makes it a hard pull?
Soft pull is not recording to the credit bureaus that we actually pulled your credit. When they do a hard pull, it notifies the credit bureaus, which actually brings your credit score down a little bit. So borrowers are very sensitive to that, especially when they're, very on the borderline of qualifying and not qualifying. But we only do soft pulls. On 30-year paper on DSCR, the institutional lender might rerun credit prior to closing, and they would do a hard pull. That's not always the case. Um, for the most part, when we do soft credit pull, we do that, we run with that expense, we provide that to our capital partner, and it's good for 90 days, something like that. Think of 90 days for that, 120 days for appraisals. If we run out of time for whatever reason, we got to run it again.
Thanks for answering.
Yeah, no sweat.
And like Fatima just said, it'll show on your credit report and it'll affect your credit. So your soft pull won't.
Correct.
Lewis, you can unmute.
Yes. Hugo, you just commented about the rates, the actual rates. And you say that they were
Yes.
awesome. Yes, that we can figure out why, but you also say that they are scary. Can you comment something on that
Scary
scary part?
yeah, so I'll put it to you like this. I put a house on the market 2 Sundays ago, distressed property, $150,000 rehab. I grew up in that neighborhood. I've known the owners for 30 years. I put it on the market for 440. And in reality, if me as an investor, I wouldn't pay $1 over 375 for this thing. Maybe 400. That's my top, right? I signed an all cash deal at 460 last week. 460, all cash, 0-day inspection, 20,000 escrow. And it worries me because obviously these people I knew, and I had a fiduciary duty to give them the best offer that I possibly can. I'm talking to a lot of investors through this. Nobody was really willing, some people were willing to go up to 440. I consider it risky. You know, me, all right, now this is Hugo talking. And now with my lender lens and my investor lens on, I wouldn't do it. Why? Because I'm seeing what people are doing out there. I'm seeing people go and invest in fix and flips. I'm also seeing that exit more and more difficult because rates the way they were, less borrowers being able to qualify. Because what are you doing as a flipper? You're selling an end product. You're selling a product to a family, to somebody who wants to move in. Sometimes they're investors and they don't care. So I see people hungry for deals. I see, you know, there was a moment there where I'm watching a couple more deals, like, you know, more deals hitting the market that made a little bit more sense numbers wise. Because as investors, guys, it's a spreadsheet, it's black and white. That's why I like investors, because there's very little emotion, right? It's just a spreadsheet. You run your numbers. I had guys that are like this, hey, this is my offer. When you're dealing with homeowners, it's all emotion. So I don't like thinking of investors getting stuck with loans because I see it all the time. I see them get stuck. I see them not move their properties. I see them doing price adjustments and price adjustments. And that's not cool, guys. Every month we need when you're making payments on these loans, right? So when I see the rates starting to really come down, what does that tell me? Well, you know, that could potentially start to fuel things again, right? And is our home prices going to go up? Our home price is going to stay where they're at because they did stabilize here. You know, we were on a roller coaster for a while here in South Florida. Things completely stabilized, but then they just stayed there. And it made it harder for investors to get into deals. It makes it harder for homeowners to end up with a home, and that's the product that they're selling. And I see people making less and less money. Every month that goes by, you're eating into your net profits, right? So that scares me as an investor. That scares me. So I talked to an investor on Sunday. He's like, I've been buying and flipping for 25 years. Doesn't matter what the market is doing, up or down. If I'm not buying homes, I'm not making money. So, but they adjust to the market, right? And that's one thing that you have to always take into consideration. In a good market, there's deals. In a bad market, there's deals, right? So you have to be very cautious and you have to be cognizant of your numbers, your resources. You know, some of these guys, obviously 25 years, they're dialed in the sense that they can get into a property, they can do it, but they know exactly what they're going to pay. And that's what I like about the wholesaling side is when you close on a deal, you get paid. The investor takes all the risk, right? When I see these properties appraised, and when I get into this project, that after repair value might not be there in 6 months. You don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball, right? And I see, you know, and I see it happen often, and it breaks my heart. But listen, I know what it's like to lose a ton of money, right? So been there, done that. I have the battle wounds and the scars, but you know, it scares me. So when I see these rates come down, I'm like, well, what's going to happen next? I don't know. Nobody has the crystal ball. I wish I did. I would be on an island somewhere and I wouldn't be in my home office background over here. I'd be somewhere in the Caribbean or the Mediterranean. But you know, it's a little bit weird to just see that shift really quickly. So I'm not saying anything bad's happening. I think a lot of these large institutional lenders have such securitization power, and by securitization I mean they fund these deals, they package all these loans, they do these big, you know, these big loan tapes, and they sell all this off into pensions, to hedge funds, to Wall Street, to little old lady 401ks, right? And they have a lot of power because they're doing $200, $300, $400 million a month in loans, and that gives them a lot of ability, right? A lot of flexibility. So I don't know, you know, I think also, I'm not to get into politics, but I think current administration is probably rattling the markets in a way where, you know, it's moving. You're shaking the tree and things are moving. So this could be really good for a lot of people. I think it'll be great for me in the lending space. I just would advise everyone, be careful. Be careful. Don't run into the things. Really be careful. Be cautious. That's my opinion.
Thanks.
Sorry for the long-winded answer, guys. I'm very
No, I love that
passionate
answer.
about all this stuff.
No.
I can talk real estate 24/7.
You don't have to like politics to understand
You and me
politics,
both,
how
bro. I
politics
love it.
fits in this thing. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, guys, this was beyond amazing. A huge thank you, Hugo, to you, my friend. As always, great, amazing knowledge, my guy.
Yes.
Had I been able to explain this to these folks here today, probably nobody believes it, which is why I'm grateful to have you here today on the show with these folks so they can go out there and say exactly what needs to be said about what was dropped here today. So thank you. We will be seeing you at the meetup, hopefully.
Right. I do want to do two things before we go, and thank you, Edwin,
Julie,
for a
she's
good
yours.
segue. Real quick, our guest from India. So Surya, can you comment? Like, what's your takeaway? What, do you like it?
Yeah,
Did you
of
learn
course.
anything?
Yeah, I mean, since I know Hugo for very long, like, almost it's 2.5 years. So, and anyway, like I got an opportunity to connect, many other people, and I today I got to know like what are the type of questions people are having in their head, and what kind of situations they face every day, or what are the common challenges, or questions arise inside their head, like before applying a loan. So it's really interesting to know, like, so it's a great meetup. I would love to join this kind of events whenever possible. So yeah, it's
Absolutely.
amazing, yeah, for me. Thank you Hugo, for sharing this link, and thank you, Julie, for having this event. Thank
Awesome.
you.
We'll love to have you. Thank you so much
Okay.
for joining. And
Yeah.
then Kurum, if you're able to unmute and give us a 2 cents from Dubai.
Thank you so much for letting me attend. It was the first time. A lot of information, and since it's a like completely new industry for us to partner up with you in the USA. So yeah, every single detail is actually new for us to learn. But thank you, Hugo. It was very informative.
Thank you for making
Hugo.
the time all the way from Dubai. I'm sure
Yeah.
It's 3 a.m. here right now.
It's 3 a.m. in Dubai. So yeah,
3 a.m.
Yes. Thank you, Kurum. And he'll be on to talk about Dubai investments on a couple other, as we're promoting it. Anybody else? I mean, we have a lot of new people. Heather, my DSCR there in Atlanta. Anything you want to say before we hop off? I think she might be okay. Ellie, thank you so much. There you go. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was loading my car.
Oh, you were fine.
Picking up stuff from Costco. Oh, I think he explained everything very well. Very informative. So even for people who don't know, much about DSCR, bridge, fix and flip loans, he explained it very well. So well done, Hugo. Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. I love
You're
the
welcome.
insights about the market and, from a South Florida perspective, and understanding where the rates are and what's happening with Fannie Mae, and, just the insights. So knowing that, and knowing your market, and also collaborating with other speakers that we had with Stephen. We work closely with Stephen, and then, Jose and whoever else we bring on. So I love the collaboration. Pace would love that. So we're learning from him, and we're learning from you guys. So we really appreciate it. So thank you so much, Hugo, for coming on and sharing your time and giving so freely. We know you're a go-giver, and we really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. And honestly, any question, please reach out. You have my info. Call me, text me. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Tamara, I know you want to get into investing. If you're walking down the street and you see a property and you just want to run numbers, use the website. Call me. Call Surya. We'll be more than happy to help out anybody. Edward, I'll get back to you on this. I got your email, and sorry, Julie, I just wanted to say that.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving, and thanks so much. His information is in the chat. He put together the one page. We started this, so for the month of April, we did a lot of HML and lending. For May, we're going to switch to AI and automation, which is a hot topic. So we really hope to see you guys. It's going to be on Tuesdays. We're having the Zoom, so a lot on that, and helping people with like Chat GPT. Jamie's going to be speaking. Hopefully Joel can put together something for us. So we're depending on people in the community to bring their expertise. So if anybody wants to speak, hit up myself or Edwin, and would love to have you. And get you on board and get you knowing of what you want to share. And then Fix and Flippers. Quick plug, tomorrow night we're having our sub 2 meetup at 511. It's going to be a great lineup of wholesalers. We have Luigi, we have Isley, and I think it's Ryan. And then from May, we'll be having co-living. So we're super excited to bring this to you guys. So continue showing up. We love to have you there. So I think that's it. I'm really, really thankful for you guys showing up and spending an hour and such with us. So any last minute final details, guys?
Thank you so much. It was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll have the recording for you guys. It's going to be on my YouTube channel, probably in 3 days. So you'll have it. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Hugo.
Good
Thanks,
night.
buddy.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good luck and have fun, everybody.
Good night.
Hey.